All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the Uplink. Super excited to be here today with the team from Codepoint. I'm going to talk about some mass scale consumer applications using the Helium Network. I'm sure they're going to talk about a lot more than that too, but that's just my cover slide. I'm Jacob Swen, marketing manager with Nova Labs, the founding team behind the Helium Network. And before I hand it over to the Codepoint guys, I'm going to just do a little background on Helium in case some of you, may not be super familiar with the network, but I'll keep this brief. So Helium is a people-powered network owned by the people, built by the people. We're all open source. And we like to call ourselves kind of like the wireless revolution. We're changing the way wireless is done, decentralized wireless. And Helium was founded in 2013. So we've been around for a while with a few different iterations, but originally in 2013 with the mission to make it easier to build decentralized wireless networks. And, we've built the world's largest decentralized wireless network, but we couldn't have gotten here where we're at today without the help of, some of the best VC firms in the world. And you can see a few of them listed there. That is not an exhaustive list at all, but we're extremely grateful for all their help in getting to where we're at and, moving forward. So like I said, the largest decentralized wireless network in the world, these were the numbers as of not too long ago. So they're pretty up to date here. We're almost at 950,000 hotspots. So slowly closing in on that magical 1 million number that we're super excited to see. We're at around a little over 73,000 cities and 182 countries around the world. So very global coverage extended all across the world, not just in the United States. A few of the major kind of selling points, and these aren't all of them, but these are some that we really hit on for when I'm talking about the network. First thing is low data transfer costs. To use the network for a device sending data every 5 minutes is kind of our standard example. It costs around $1 per year. So very competitive prices and a lot cheaper than most other options. It's also really accessible and just easy to use the network with compatible off-the-shelf LoRaWAN devices. You can just upload them and get started sending data over the network. Because of this global coverage, not all the time, obviously, but in most places, there's existing infrastructure and Helium coverage already in place. So the network is there already. A lot of times you don't have to pay more to, set up network, buy hotspots, things like that. The coverage is there. You just got to get devices and start sending data over the network that's already there. And then you only pay based on usage. So you're not getting locked in any costly or complex contracts. You're not being, charged for overages and data you may not use, anything like that. Like when you send data, you pay for that, and that's it with Helium. So a lot of good benefits with the network. We also have a really expansive and quickly growing ecosystem here. You can see Codepoint on that list. This is definitely not everybody. You can just check it out at helium.com/ecosystem. We have all types of different use cases, from all kinds of asset tracking to like pet tracking to, smart home devices to, Orkney Laura is doing stuff on these remote islands off the coast of, I think, Scotland. I could be wrong, but, monitoring like water levels in ponds for local wildlife. Skipley's doing, instant customer feedback in airports and shopping centers and things like that. So all types of different use cases that are being enabled by the network. So really cool. And you can always check that out on our ecosystem page as well. And we do have some exciting updates, and some happening now or coming very soon. So we're in the home stretch now for Helium House New York City. We did our first in-person kind of marketing event in Austin, Helium House ATX, back in June. Seems like a year ago, but it was only a few months. It was popular. So we're coming back to New York City this time, and we have a full day of, panelists, use cases being showcased, exciting announcements, things like that. Codepoint will be there, and I think they're going to tease that a little bit. But if you're in New York City and you haven't registered for this event, or you want to stop by, check it out. You can just go Google Helium House New York City and the landing page will come up. Some other exciting things, the mobile token launched, I'm pretty sure it was August. Again, it seems like forever ago, but Helium 5G, this was cellular summer. So we've got a lot of stuff happening with that, but now people can earn the mobile token, earn rewards for building out the Helium 5G network. We also announced not long ago that Nova Labs and FreedomFi are now working together. Nova Labs acquired FreedomFi to kind of push forward on that Helium 5G and wireless and all those types of things. So super excited to have the Freedom Fi team working with us now. That's really going to help what we're trying to do in the 5G space and in the future. And then if you're following Helium at all, if you're on our Discord, on socials, things like that, you've seen HIP 70. It's, there's a lot of different parts of HIP 70. I would suggest you go read it, check it out. And the voting for it is now live. And I believe it closes next Monday or Tuesday. I need to double check that. But definitely, cast your vote, have a say. This is, we're decentralized. The community speaks for us. So, read through the HIP, get knowledgeable about what's happening with Helium, and then go and cast your vote on there. All right. That's pretty much my spiel. So with that, I am going to stop sharing and hand the keys over to Codepoint. Let you guys, introduce yourselves and get going.
Very good. Well, thank you, Jacob. And before I get too far into this, I'd like to also thank Innova Lab for allowing us to participate and inviting us to participate in the Uplink series webinars. Today, we're going to focus on kind of talking a little bit about what Codepoint is up to with our technologies and our solutions. We, as you might remember from my introduction, we are essentially a device manufacturer that develops devices and middleware solutions for a variety of applications in IoT and in location. Derek, can you advance to the next slide, please? I'm here today with first off, my name is Mike Mathews, and I'm the president and CTO for Codepoint. And I'm here with Zhong Li, who is our VP of Business Development, and Derek Steffey, who is our principal engineer. He leads our embedded device development and device development products, and is also our resident Helium enthusiast. We go to Derek for all things Helium, and he's probably actively voting and working on HIP 70 right now, I suspect. But yeah, so that's kind of our team and what we're here excited to talk to today.
Awesome. So you mentioned you develop both devices and, kind of middleware. So it looks like you're on that slide already. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those IoT devices that you guys offer?
Yeah, and I think, Derek, you're going to cover this, right?
Yeah, just unmuting myself there. Yeah, good day to everyone. So yeah, I spend a lot of time on the embedded and device side with Codepoint. And, before I dig into some details on the devices, I just wanted to mention that all the devices we're showing today on the slide are actually in production devices, meaning they're ready to go and are orderable. And I think, Zhong, actually, we have inventory of all of these still in stock, right?
Yes, we build inventory for the ramp up.
Yep. So these are all still kicking around on hand. Codepoint's devices are sort of organized into two different product lines. We have the Cora sensor line, which is those white plastic consumer-focused smart IoT devices. And then our second product line is our Cora tracker line, which is in the lower left corner there. One of the products we have is that Darth Vader-esque location tracking tag, which uses BLE and Wi-Fi scraping to derive location information. And, the tracking tag, it's kind of our flagship product. And with Helium, it's kind of a match made in heaven. The tracking tag and Helium kind of go together like peanut butter and jelly because it enables near real-time tracking feedback from the device. So I walk around all the time with these in my pocket and am able to get just fantastic tracks, even in surprisingly, non-urban environments. It works really great. So I just want to talk about some of the features of the tag. It's a weatherproof, small, portable tag. It weighs about 23 grams. There's a lithium ion battery in it, so it's rechargeable. It takes a couple hours to charge up, and you get around 6,000 locates per battery charge. Also, if you're idling, it's several year idle life, really low power drain. It's a smart tag also in that it's designed to work when there is no network coverage, or maybe your backhaul's down on the other side of your gateway. So it's got some flash memory on board that will cache location information if you don't have active connections. But of course, with Helium, like I said, it's such a great match because Helium is so geographically distributed now around the world. You can take it just about anywhere, and you're going to get your data quickly. Other physical characteristics of the tag: it's got 2 push buttons, it's got 2 bicolor LEDs. There's an accelerometer on board, so you can have motion profile, and it also has a flexible scripting engine built in. So this is very similar to like a Lua scripting engine. We use a Pawn, which is a little more compact version of that, but you can define the personality of the tag and what it's doing with a downloadable script. And this is really, part of our effort to make smart devices. So if you're tracking people or a pet, you're going to want to have a very different profile on the device than, if you're doing like asset tracking, like a precious Parmesan cheese wheel in an Italian warehouse somewhere. So, that flexibility with the tag is really a great feature there. And it's a super neat product, especially when paired up with Helium.
Yeah.
Switching gears over to talk about the Cora sensors real quick. These are consumer focused. They're all white plastic devices. They fit really well in a home or business environment. They're not, these giant honking industrial devices that you need to, come with a 10 millimeter bolt and you need a socket wrench to deal with. They're designed for manufacturing and deployment, for mass scale. It's really easy to provision with our platform support if needed. And, part of our approach with these devices is, again, just like the tracking tag to work if it's offline. If you happen to lose network connectivity or backhaul, they'll still keep going with their mission. They kind of babysit themselves. Also, we tried to put in a lot of knobs and features at the device level in the firmware to allow them to meet, 90% of the applications out there. And, some examples of that, like with the AC wall outlet, this is going to be a fixed installation. It's not going to move around like maybe the other battery powered devices will.
Yeah.
So you can use Helium, send a downlink, tell it what its latitude and longitude is in the world, and then you can have it manage its own scheduling. It has a really flexible scheduling and event engine, and you can say, hey, I want sunrise and sunset, and it'll just take care of it on its own because it knows where it is all on the device.
Nice.
All of the sensor products also have a temperature engine in them, which you can set some events for. Obviously, the temperature and humidity sensor is, a high precision calibrated temperature device. All the devices also have a really neat statistics engine in it that's sucking down time domain information and keeping track of what the sensors are doing. You can use that to optimize battery life in some applications. And also, like the tilt and vibration sensor, this is a really neat product. It can kind of transform its function. We ship it actually as a garage door sensor. But you can easily change it over to do impulse detection, which means you can duct tape it to the bottom of your cookie jar lid and find out when your kids are sneaking cookies when they shouldn't be. Or another neat application for that is you can just rubber band it onto a mouse trap and figure out when you need to go take a look at your mouse trap and see if it's got any presence for you or not. It also has a continuous motion mode. You can also flip it into out of the box where that's good for duty cycle measurements, like a pump, for example. You want to see when it starts and stops. And it's just a really flexible state machine in there. You can actually configure it after you get it with all kinds of motion profiles. And, this is important because, a lot of the IoT industry, sometimes you get devices and they're not going to do what you need them to do. And now you're looking at either custom firmware for the device or, NRE associated with that. And that's something, we've really targeted.
Yeah, we've tried to make them so that not only are they easy to use and easy to integrate, but we've definitely focused on the fact that they can be easily configured to support a wide variety of applications without requiring customization.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Just so people have all those options with the different things. It's very cool.
So these are, I'd love to talk about all the details with this all day long, but this is what we have in our current Codepoint portfolio, and there's more stuff coming around the corner, including some new form factors for the tracking tag. So more good stuff should be on the way.
Yeah, no, these are awesome, man. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking how I could use all of these different things just, even in my apartment right now. But I think you mentioned somewhere in there that you also have like a software platform. Is that right?
We do. Our platform, we learned early on, particularly with our location products, that to simplify integration with our application partners, our solution partners, that we were going to offer a middleware platform. And we wanted to do this primarily as a systems integration accelerator. That we found out really early on that a lot of people just didn't understand what Helium was or LoRaWAN or how these things work. And we wanted to simplify that, so to speak, and make that easier to integrate. So yeah, we built a middleware platform that it's required to use with our location tags, but it's optional. You can use it with our IoT devices as well. And it has some neat features like our scan and go device activation technology, which allows, you can scan a QR code on the back of the device and it'll automatically register, provision it across all the various systems that are needed to make the thing work. And so this is great because we can ship the devices straight from our manufacturing to the end customer if we wanted to. It doesn't require any hands-on touching, which is really important for mass scale implementations. We also provide protocol translators and subscription engines and device registration functionality that make it easy for these devices to be onboarded with the various customer application as needed. And one of the other cool technologies that we're really proud of and looking forward to actually market more in general with the not only the Helium community, but a lot of the LoRaWAN community in general, is our secure device credential management functions, where we're very aware that, while the device EUI might be published, with the identity of the device might be published, there's a lot of other data that you need to actually onboard these devices with a network. And so we've developed a solution that goes along with our scan and go technology, that device, that data is claimed by the end application or end customer and is only visible to them once it's been claimed, so that there's no need to transmit in the open any identity data for these devices while they're basically in transit from where they're manufactured to their final destination. And we're pretty excited about it because it really reduces the potential for spoofing attacks and hijacking attacks if people can inadvertently get your information and they can take the devices, rip them off the wall and go take them to someplace else. Yeah. So fundamentally, these devices are useless unless the owner of the devices authorizes their use. And that's pretty cool. We're pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone email those confidential informations, the device informations.
Yeah. For sure. Yep. Okay, cool. So all of your products, like, where do you see them being used right now? Like, where do you see some of them being used in the future? Like, what's kind of your main, I know, Mike, we talked about this on our review a little bit, but maybe talk about that again for the people who didn't watch that.
What's our market strategy? Actually, I'm going to hand it over to Zhong for that.
Okay.
He heads that up every day for us.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we see Helium definitely open two very exciting market for us. One is wide area asset and personnel tracking. The other one is very low cost IoT connectivity for consumer and small business. With close to 1 million Helium hotspots and many roaming partners that give us a really good network coverage in urban and suburban areas right now. Codepoint tracking tag now can be used for like tracking shipments, shared bikes, checking luggages, and also can be used for employee and child safety. Our LoRaWAN tracking tag has much lower power and much lower operating cost and smaller size compared to traditional, cellular-based tracking tag.
Yeah.
As Derek already mentioned, we have a small tracking tag already, and we're working on the next one. I don't know if anyone can see that.
Yeah.
So it's so small, it can easily put on, your on the pad or some valuable assets in the future. So another market definitely with with all the coverage right now, everyone knows LoRaWAN has much greater coverage than Wi-Fi and BLE. So before Helium, consumer and small business, they have to install a LoRaWAN gateway in order to use the LoRaWAN sensors. Now we believe, many homes in San Francisco, New York cities, and they can just install a door sensor without buying LoRaWAN gateway with all the great coverage. And also, also those hotspot owners, now they can also take advantage of their hotspots. They can start using our sensors, like the leak sensors, temperature sensors in the refrigerators. So we see that will become a very big market for us.
Yeah, it's hard to understate the impact potential that we see with Helium and what we're doing with Codepoint. That access to the mass market without infrastructure. I'm not aware of any other solution that we can offer or even potentially do with another network today that can attack potentially the consumer market. Helium is a requirement for that. And, and you've heard me go on before about how, we didn't understand that our tag was actually a tag for regional and national footprints now, but we thought it was just a campus-based solution. But Helium there again is also something that we're just very excited about because it breaks down the coverage. It takes away the coverage problem and then reduces the cost of ownership. So yeah, it's for us, what our focus, and Zhong go into more of this in a second, is that, we want to go after that mass market. And that is, it's Helium all the way at that point for us.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect testimonial. That's what I love to hear on these. That's awesome. Derek, were you going to say something? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Just, Helium being, for the IoT side being LoRa based as well, LoRa is just a ridiculously good, RF technology. And I'm surprised sometimes in like noisy environments and stuff, how well it works. I was at a trade show earlier in the year in Tacoma, Washington, and all kinds of noisy equipment and sparks flying everywhere and stuff. And I was testing a bunch of devices on Helium, and yeah, LoRa just really has good RF performance. So
yeah, gets into the crevices.
Yeah,
love it. All right, you want to talk a little bit about your kind of go-to-market strategy? Like, are you selling directly to consumers? Is it more? Well, look at that right there. Yeah, break it down, Zhong.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So Codepoint, we believe a healthy ecosystem is a key for our success. And as a company, we're going to stick to our core competence. We're focusing on building mass-produced the devices, reliable firmware, and also middleware. We are going to rely on our IoT platform partners, application development partners, and solution partners to provide sales channels. So we're not going to sell directly. We're going to rely on partners.
Gotcha.
So we believe we can produce a lot of value-added consumer and small business appealing sensors and tracking solutions. So Helium opened up a new market for us. So we're going to take advantage of that, working with you guys to build the ecosystems together. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're also, I should mention, in terms of consumer and commercial penetration, I mean, the other thing that we can't discount here with Helium is the roaming functions that you guys have been developing with your other private network partners that offer more what we'd call enterprise grade services.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing that as a very important component as well, that a lot of our early sales, because we've been working with those partners all along anyway, we're really getting serious about talking about integrating and doing roaming with Helium and how that's going to work. And so we intend to attack the enterprise through those channels as well.
Gotcha. No, very cool. I know, I brought up our ecosystem and how it's growing, and I know you guys work with some of those other people in our ecosystem. Are there any partners that you can kind of name drop a little bit?
Yeah, I think we can do more than that. Let's talk about some of the applications.
There we go. Yeah.
I wanted to talk initially about kind of this solution that we're doing with TraxMate and Combane is actually based in Sweden. So this is deployed in Europe right now. Cool. And this was our first application that we brought the tag out and started using with Helium. And also we had a private network solution going with it at the same time. And they wanted to track their bikes. And if you know anything about Sweden, it gets cold there in the wintertime.
I've heard that, yes.
Yes. And they came to us with the basic requirement was We want your devices to run for a year on the bikes without charging, and they have to survive the winter, and then they have to be able to basically provide location data whenever the bike stops. So they were interested in dwell time. They wanted to know where the bikes were stopped, not while they were moving.
Yeah.
And the heat map in the background actually shows some of the lessons learned that we have gotten as a result of doing these projects. But for us, the data is exciting, and I'm really happy they're excited about it. But this pilot project tested us and made us really get our stuff working well. And that for us, that was very important. So yeah, we've spent basically almost a year now in trials with these guys developing this solution. And we're pretty excited about what it's been able to do and what we've been able to accomplish with the tags. And the next slide, and we're working with a Helium partner, Embedded Works, where we're basically taking a lot of that lessons learned now and integrating it with their TFL tracking for less solution. And Andy Doe, he presented that, I think, at an Uplink here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, not long ago.
Yeah, and I won't really get into what he was presenting there, but we're pretty excited because this product actually launches any day now. So I'm sure we're going to see it at the Helium House as we come into next week. So what's cool about it, this is a worker safety oriented solution. And it's going to be not only capable of operating outdoors around town, around the area, but it's going to support indoor activities as well. So this is great for big facilities like hotels or those types of applications, manufacturing processes, people clocking in and out on worker construction sites. There's a wide variety of applications that they see for this, and including kids and students as well. So, but this is a case where we actually developed a custom app on the device using our scripting tools to support their application set versus the bike app. And so the tag has a completely different set of functionality, but same basic technology under the hood, but same firmware, but different functionality.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit. I like the feature set is you click twice, you check in. You click 3 times, you check out. So it's great for contractors, for employees come in. After you check in, the tag start tracking you every 10 minutes. When you check out, then you turn off all the tracking functions and the tag will go to sleep. Save a lot of battery and also save the privacy of the employee.
Yeah,
I like that function.
So real fast before you move on from this slide, there's a QR code down the left-hand corner. Is that just kind of showing that this uses QR codes? Or is that something people?
No, the QR code in the left corner takes you to the Helium Uplink that was presenting the TFL application.
Gotcha.
So,
all right, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, Embedded Works.
We should have put a little label on that.
That's okay.
They did such a nice job presenting it. We don't really want to take their thunder.
Yeah, no worries. How about, so I mean, you showed some tracking stuff. What about like the different sensors and things that you guys showed that are in your portfolio? Yeah,
so our next solution is actually something we're just about to launch. So we've been in business with our tracking tags for some time, so we have a lot of experience on that. But we're now just going to market in a major way with our IoT devices. And so as part of that launching process, we are actually announcing today, but also going to be demonstrating it at the Helium House, our IoT white label consumer solution starter kit. What this is that we have our standard IoT starter kit with leak sensors and tilt and vibration sensors and the temperature, humidity, and the door and window sensor stuff. But we've bundled that with a consumer grade app that deploys all that scan and go technology, that quick automation, just scan a QR code and off you're going, so that people can open up the kit, activate their subscription, which is, if it's the base system that we're talking about, is about 1 year. And then they scan their devices and in a few minutes they're up and running and they can deploy and they're monitoring whatever they want to monitor. Could be their water tanks, could be the garage doors, could be the freezer. Great. We think that the sensor kit's actually great for a lot of commercial small business applications as well as consumer. Yeah. The reason we did this, and we developed this with our partner Techvetica, is because Helium is needing and needs these easy to use mass scale apps, right? And that's why we wanted to do this. Now, we're not going to market this directly to our end customers. This will come through our partner companies and channel partners, which will customize it a little bit.
Okay.
But it'll be basically a base solution that they can have up and running in a matter of a few days. And so we're anxious to announce those partnerships and launch that stuff actually in the month of October here. So we'll be working with our partners to roll this out through various channels as we go forward for the fourth quarter of this year.
Very cool. I was just going to say, I love the kits. I mean, I've seen a few of our ecosystem partners kind of putting out these kits that have the different sensors in. So it's kind of like a, all-in-one type of solution that people are getting rather than having to go and find here's a leak sensor, here's a motion sensor, things like that. So very cool.
Well, the fun part about it's the good and bad problem of having inexpensive devices.
Yeah.
It's better and more cost-effective for us to sell them in kits.
For sure.
Because to sell them one at a time, the shipping costs just eats you alive.
Yeah.
And you don't get the benefit of the low cost and you ship them one at a time. So we're very big on kits ourselves.
Zhong, I think I interrupted you earlier. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. Our ecosystem partner, TechVetica, they provide IoT platforms, and also they did all the app development. So we already give this alpha version to some partners, ecosystem partners, to test them. So the solution partners can look at it and say, oh, I really like this app. I want my logo. I want this look and feel. Then we can connect our partners with TechVetica's, and they can do the white label application.
Gotcha. So I was going to ask, Mike, you said that people would get these from your channel partners and your ecosystem partners, right? Not directly from Codepoint.
Yeah, we will offer the unbranded version for demos and trials and testing, but that would really be to prospective partners, not to end customers.
Gotcha. So how can people follow up? Do they follow up with you? Do they reach out to some of those partners?
We can certainly put them in touch with partners if they want to follow it up with directly. But it is my expectation that our partners will probably start marketing this through you guys. And so you'll probably see this coming out in different incarnations as we go forward. Again, this is all about keep it simple, stupid, keep it easy to use, keep it easy to deploy, and make it so that we have a solution that's actually competitive to a lot of what you see in the Wi-Fi and BLE space, but again, works to the advantage of what Helium is and what LoRaWAN is. It's long range, low cost, very long battery life. I mean, most of these devices have battery life that's 3 to 5 years, if not longer. They use so little power, we can't actually accurately always tell how long it's going to last.
Good problem to have. Yeah.
Our leak sensor, I think the data sheet says 5+ years, and I challenge everyone to find out what the plus actually is, because it's a very, very conservative rating. But speaking of the differentiation between LoRa devices running on Helium and like I don't know if anyone has experience with those Home Depot Wi-Fi and home IoT Wi-Fi devices. I have a few of those kicking around. And, my jaw kind of hit the floor. I think it was last year. I had internet actually go out for a day where I'm at. And then also there was a AWS outage for one of those device vendors. And I was shocked. I had a schedule on this device. I was fortunately just hooked up to a light, but it stopped working. And I was like, this is something Codepoint devices we specifically addressed with our smart devices is they're going to keep going. Because, imagine if it was hooked up to a fish tank or something, you might come home and find a bunch of fish in an orientation you didn't expect, for example.
Oh man, I hate thinking about it. Yeah, save the fish for sure.
Yeah, redundant, robust solutions, and I think Helium could be a very key part of those types of system deployments. Yeah. So that's kind of our basic setup for what we're doing right now. I think a little bit of a teaser for the Helium House. We'll be raffling off a couple of these kits to provide some of the customers that are people that show up to the Helium House, and look forward to doing that with your team during the show there next week on Tuesday. Yeah. And then I think Zhong also mentioned, the new tag form factor that we're talking about has the same guts as our ped tracker. That will also be available in the fourth quarter of this year for other solutions as well. And yeah, so it's pretty exciting time. We are very excited again that Helium is here and ready to do business. And so we're looking forward to starting to sell lots of these units as we move into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, super happy that you guys are working with us to do this. You mentioned what you're going to raffle off some stuff at Helium House. Are you also going to have some of these devices just to kind of like showcase and things?
Yeah, I'll bring the entire complement.
Perfect.
And I'll have it running on my phones and stuff, of course. So
yeah.
I have it on a good authority that Andy Doe will be doing some of that stuff as well. So
I'm sure he will. He'll be there. So, and you guys will have monitors and stuff. So if you want to play things up on a monitor and show people sending some data and stuff like that, so they can come check all that stuff out.
Absolutely, it'd be great.
Yeah, awesome. So we do have a QR code up here. What is that one going to get them to? Your website?
That'll take them to our company website, and we probably should have plugged the Helium House in the lower left, but
that's all right. All right.
You can Google that one easy enough.
I think I've plugged Helium House enough for the last couple months. Yeah, so all good. I had a couple questions. Just, you guys are obviously, you built some solutions and you're continuing to kind of innovate and find, new solutions to solve different problems that you see. Are there anything, outside of what you have in the future where you really see, Codepoint kind of filling a hole or solving solutions? Like, do you see some problems cropping up in the near future that you think, okay, I want to go after that market kind of?
Together with the ecosystem that we're building, I'm personally very excited about Helium-based solutions for multi-tenant housing solutions, because that's that unique environment where everybody's going to have their own Wi-Fi in those facilities. But, when you're monitoring equipment and hot water tanks and all these things, you need a common system that can be shared. And Helium is a perfect candidate for those types of things. Because, when somebody's hot water tank breaks on the fourth floor, it affects everybody underneath them. And
absolutely. Yeah.
So we look at the opportunity to develop solutions for multi-tenant housing solutions, large scale commercial deployments in facilities. And I know malls aren't kind of the thing right now, but, there's equivalents to those that still exist, of course. And,
sure. Yeah.
We're pretty excited that that's the area. Obviously enterprise remains a big focus too, but I think, for us, we're going to work really hard to double down and try to get consumer plays moving with Helium. I think that's very important to us and to our partners. But I also believe that, focusing on, commercial solutions for, again, multi-tenant housing solutions and those types of environments are critical to our success long term. Yeah. And it's kind of what we're building all this stuff for, is for those kinds of things. So it's going to be more of the same, and probably what you'll see is us working to create better applications and really getting better use cases done, so this stuff can get tailored correctly to be at optimum. Because at this point, it's not so much a cost issue anymore. That's the key thing that's been taken from this. It's how can we do this better and use the infrastructure that we now have.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. You showed that bike tracking use case in Sweden. Do you guys have other solutions, other use cases around the world, or are there big expansion plans? Is that something in the
well, we're pretty busy this year with the US, but we are working in India right now, and we haven't certified our devices for that market just yet. But we do have some partners that are talking about really wanting to take a shot at it. But Europe and US are our primary markets. And we intend to make sure that by coming into next year that we're able to do all this stuff equally well in Europe as well.
Okay. All right. No, that's great. And kind of last thing, there's so many different things going on with Helium right now with the network. Are there any things that you've seen that you're particularly excited about, or think like, wow, that's going to open up new opportunities for us? Anything?
Well, selfishly, and my guys don't want me to say this, but I'm very excited about Helium getting Class C capability.
Yeah. I've heard that before. Yes.
Yeah. While we have a lot of sensors today, I think the technology comes in a better position when you have control as well. We have to be able to use the network for controlling devices as well. and that's a Class C type thing. So yeah, I'm very eager and very anxious to actually have all that ready and working.
Yeah, I think you're not alone in that for sure. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it. This was awesome. And people can follow up at just info@codepoint.xyz. That's the email to follow up with you guys. Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. And anyone listening, come check out Codepoint at Helium House, New York City, and then stay tuned for more announcements, more exciting things coming from Mike, Derek, Zhong, and the team over there. So thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for watching.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. See everyone next time. Bye.
Okay. Bye.